significant impacts on children. Divorce, children often experience a range of emotions and challenges. The effect of divorce on children can be very based on age, personality, and the circumstances surrounding the divorce. Now, children may feel a sense of loss, confusion, and sadness when their parents split up. They might blame themselves for the divorce between their parents. Of their daily routines and the changes in family dynamics can lead to the feeling of insecurity and anxiety. Moreover, academic performance, social relationships, and emotional well-being can be affected by divorce. Some children may exhibit behavioral issues such as aggression or withdrawal, while others may struggle with trust and commitment in their own relationships later in life. You're welcome to Insight Today. I am Jumai Manson. Today we're looking at the divorce and the impact it has on the children. I'm being joined by Dr. Princess Tobechukwu, who is a family expert. Don't go anywhere. The program continues shortly.
Get ready for it. Insight Today brings you issues relating to family, peer pressure, drugs, substance abuse, societal and topical issues making rounds. Join Jumai Manson on Global Television Monday to Thursday and they repeat every Friday. Time 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. Don't miss out.
You're welcome back to the program Insight Today on Global Television. And like I mentioned earlier, I am being joined by Dr. Princess Tobechukwu, who is a family expert. Dr. Princess, are you here? All right, it's great to have you on the program. Now, I'm talking about divorce and the impact in which it has on the children. Now, how does the age of a child influence their reaction to their parents' divorce?
Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you. Please go ahead.
Yes, good afternoon, ma. Good afternoon, everyone. Please, I'm just coming. Can you repeat your question, ma?
Yeah, I said, how does the age of a child influence the reaction to their parents' divorce? Like if the child is too young or too older in life, does it have any influence on the parents' divorce?
Yes, it has. I, as a teacher, I have some experiences with children whose parents divorce have affected in numerous ways, especially from the age of 8 to 14. You understand? It affects their education. It affects them mentally, that they have psychological effects. It affects their education, like I said. You see them, they will be withdrawing, okay? They will be withdrawing from other children. When other children are playing, you will see them because of the mental stress they are going through. Apart from their education, like I said, psychologically too, it affects them. It affects their also relationship with other children. So from that age, it is a bit better when they get older. But from this age of 8 to 14, that is when it most affected them. The trauma they go through, it is nothing. In fact, it is too much. I had to intervene in some occasions. So I had to go to the parents, especially when, I'm sorry to use this word, especially maybe when the parents, the parent that is having this custody of the child is not all that responsible. I'm sorry to use that
All
word.
right, Mrs. Princess.
You understand
Mrs.
what I mean?
Princess, Dr. Princess, let's quickly go on a very quick break. The program
Yes.
continues shortly. Just hold on. The program will continue shortly. Thank you.
Oh, okay. Okay. Thank you very much.
All right, you're welcome back to the program Inside Today on Global Television. And today we're looking at a very sensitive issue. It's all about divorce and the impact in which it has on the children. And like I said, I am being joined by Dr. Ifoma Tobechukwu, who is joining me via Zoom. How are you doing, Dr. Ifoma? Welcome back to the program. All right. Now, I want us to look at this very sensitive topic critically. You know, sometimes in life, divorce can occur due to maybe violence, emotional violence, or abuse when it comes to the psychological aspect, infidelity. All of these things encompass. Now, how can parents, you know, relatively in a subtle tone, explain to their children that they're going to have a divorce?
How can I tell them that we are going to have a divorce? Hello? Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay. If I get your question right, how I will tell my children that I'm going to
Yes, how can parents actually explain to their children in a subtle tone that they're going to have a divorce?
Okay. I want to believe that the children, they are very sensible, they're intelligent, you understand. And they have been seeing what is happening in the family. So in a nutshell, I will simply tell them that, my children, you've seen that things are not working out fine between me and your dad. And for now, we want to see how we can live apart. At first, I'm not going to bring in divorce. I will first tell them that since it's going to be in a subtle way, I'm going to tell them that we want to at least separate for some time. Let's see if things will work out well. That is the way I'm going to break it out to them.
Okay. Now, let's look at the emotional challenge. Now, what emotional challenges do children typically face during their parents' divorce?
To be frank with you, the emotional challenge is there. The children are most affected. They may become regressful. They show signs of anxiety and depression, you understand? So they have this fear of rejection and lack of trust, which can make it difficult for them to build a lasting romantic relationship. So these are the emotional traumas that the children can go through when divorce is in case.
Look at the impact of a child's academic performance. Now, in what ways can divorce impact the child's academic performance?
Well, like I said before, of course, it's going to affect it because once the child regress, once the child is having a psychological problem, the child will not be able to perform very well. We have seen the cases is about 80%. Is about 80% that once there is this kind of problem, especially if the person in custody of the child is not financially buoyant and maybe is not living a moral life. Do you understand?
Yes, I do.
If not living a moral life, is going to affect the child's education. And for some that we divorce and remarry, if the girl child is a girl child, the new spouse can be abusing the child sexually. That also will add to the child's psychological problem that may render the child useless, in parentheses, not behaving well and not concentrating. Because if a child must do well in education, he or she must needs concentration and a good environment, and the person has to be happy to start with. So you find out that when there is a divorce between parents, the children, they are not always happy. You can see them always there angry, you understand, they are aggressive in nature, and these things are affecting their school activities.
Okay. All right. Now, looking at this critically, it sometimes is confusing for the child to understand that there are particular days he will stay with his mom, or there are particular days he's going to stay with his dad. Now, how can parents help children cope with the feeling of loss and confusion during a divorce?
That is it. It is a problem, a big problem. And especially if the child loves the dad more than the mom.
Exactly.
During the period of going to the mom, you find out that the child will not be happy. During that period, the child will, in fact, will be withdrawn somehow. The child will not be happy. The child will not be able to do anything meaningful. But when it is time to go to that side, you see, because the particular child has love for his father or for her father, you find out that that child at that time will be very happy. You understand? Will be very happy. She may start coping, but once she goes to that side or he goes to that side that he doesn't like, it will be a problem. And if there's something again we need to understand in all this, if the father maybe has remarried and the supposedly stepmother is not treating the child well, you see, is also a problem. So you see, that is why we should even preach against divorce. That's why I don't even like divorce at the first instance. But in case of abusive marriage, you understand, violence, domestic violence, I will say they should separate. You
Say
understand?
separate for how long?
For 2, I think even the church and the courts made it 2 years. I think the rule is 2 years. After 2 years, they come back together to see. I want to say that with the space of 2 years, they should be able to treat their differences and be able to come back. Because there's this problem. If the woman remarries and the man remarries, what happens to their children? Sometimes the man may get a spouse that may not love those his former children, his children, the children from the first wife, and it becomes a serious problem. And children going to this place, they may go and learn a different culture or different ideology, and they will go to their mother, learn a different one. You can see that it will be very confusing. So that is why we shouldn't even support divorce at all, and that is why it is really telling bad on the children.
What are the ways that one can actually balance it? Because sometimes divorce is just the answer. Sometimes parents are not happy with one another and they feel going their separate ways is key. As long as they have a stable relationship with the children, does it really matter?
Well, it does. Your question now is, what is the best way of handling such situation, isn't it?
Is
Hello?
Dr. Princess, they have a
Yes.
reasonable understanding. The only
Okay.
thing there is they are not under the same roof.
Okay.
They're involved in their children's lives. They are there when their children needs them, but they're not under the same roof. They are not together, and they are divorced, but they have a relationship going on. They are likewise friends and not enemies. I think it's just my own opinion that when it becomes a problem is when both parents are enemies. Don't you think?
Yes, yes. When they are enemies, there is a problem. But when they are still friends, sometimes what they do is, I think the best thing is for them to come together once in a while with their children. If the woman is the one in custody of the children, maybe once in a while, either once in a week or twice a month, they should come together with the man, discuss, play, you understand? Train the children together in that way. I think it will go a long way.
Okay.
By
Now,
so
now
doing,
let's
the
look at
children will not
let's look
really.
at divorce and
Okay.
how it can influence a child's trust in relationships in the future. You know, people have said in their own opinion that once parents are divorced, it affects that their children, especially the female child, on how she will trust, the fear of not being able to keep a relationship when it has to be with a fiance or a husband. That fear is always there. Is there a likelihood?
Yes, yes. Especially if she's old enough to have seen, if her father is an abusive one, if her father is the type that beats her mother and all that, you understand? If her father is so irresponsible that maybe he doesn't pay bills and all that, it will affect the girl child. It will definitely affect her. She will see all men as being the same. That hatred will be there for men. She will not trust any man. When she eventually comes close and she sees any little negative side of the person, you will see her withdrawn. You will see how she want to cut off. She won't want to continue. Definitely, that is how it affects them.
Now, Dr. Princess, let us look at the mental health, for instance, when it comes to children. Now, what are the long-term effects of divorce on the children's mental health?
Um, please, this thing is breaking. Can I hear your question again, please?
Yes, I said, what are the long-term effects when it comes to the child or children's mental health?
Yes, it affects their mental health. I think to a reasonable number of years. It depends anyway. It depends on the parents anyway. It depends on the parents and how the person groomed the child, what they tell them, the counseling they give them, their mindset and all that. But if not, let's say up to adulthood, it can really affect their mental health. You see some take into drugs. You understand? Some do not even want to go into relationship at all. I've seen someone who said, because of the way my father treated my mother, I'm not going to get married at all. He decided to have a single mother, that is somebody who will just give birth who will give him a child, and he said he doesn't want to marry. He doesn't want to live under the same roof with a woman. It affects them seriously. Even up to old age, it depends on how it is handled. If it's not handled well, it affects them even up to old age. That
Very
fear
true.
of the unknown, that fear of infidelity, that fear of whatever that causes the separation or the divorce of their parents will always haunt them.
Now, let us look at divorce in the aspect of the children's relationship with extended family members. How do you think they can balance that relationship? Because there's this stigma attached to it when parents are divorced and the children are there, especially when they are sworn enemies or likelihood friends. So how can
Mm.
how can you balance the relationship with extended family members without pointing fingers?
That is true. But sometimes it is difficult, unless among the elites who really understand this. Because in my own place, I'm an Igbo woman, you understand. There is this what we call Ikune, that is your mother's place. Divorce between two persons and that leads to extended family, it affects the child in a way that if those people are not people who understands, any little thing the child does, it will refer back to either his mother or his father. You understand? The next thing
Yes,
you
I
hear
do.
is that is how his father is. I'm not surprised. He will be like his father. Or that is how his mother, she is as useless as his mother. You understand that kind of reference?
True.
Uh-huh. That will affect the child. And I want to say that it is very, very wrong. It's a wrong approach, and is not because it will make the child, instead of having his or her self-esteem, the person will lose it. You understand?
Yes.
The child will lose his or her self-esteem, will not be able to, carry him or herself well, and may become something else in the society instead of being a good child that he or she is. That aspect may affect the child negatively.
Now let's look at co-parenting. Now, how can it benefit children after post-divorce?
Okay. Co-parenting.
Yes,
Hello.
yes, please.
You say, how can it benefit the children after
Yes, how can it
divorce?
benefit the children after the divorce? Co-parents coming together, the husband and the wife. How can they build a better and vibrant relationship after divorce?
Mm, if that is possible, if parents can coexist after divorce, it will help bringing up the children. It will help nurturing the children. It will give the children sense of belonging and sense of living. That is just that. If they can come together as one again, in fact, those children will be happy, because there are some children, once they are not with their father, the next thing in the society is he's a bastard. He will be tagged a bastard. You understand? Even though the parents got married before the child was born, and it was after that divorce came in and all that. But if they can come together, I told you, it will be a good solution. It will be a good solution to this problem of child
Dr.
negative
Princess,
effect.
is that why you
Yes.
mentioned separation instead of divorce? To give both
Yes.
parents time to
Yes.
reflect
At
and
first,
think
I
whether they
don't
can
preach
make
the
it work or
divorce.
not?
Exactly.
Okay.
Sometimes, like I am a Catholic, okay? When you have problem, when couples have problem, they don't grant them divorce immediately. The only way they can grant them divorce is when maybe the man married the lady under false pretense, maybe deceit,
Okay.
or they find that the woman has no womb, or the man is impotent. But
Okay.
apart from this, if it is other problems, like maybe problem of financial, no finance problem of finances, problem of what is it called? Problem of um, that is being irresponsible,
Okay.
infidelity, and all that. They give
Yeah.
them room. They tell them, go your separate ways for like 2 years.
All
After
right.
that,
All
they
right.
feel that
Doctor
they will be remorseful
Dr.
to come back and live as one.
Okay, Dr. Princess, now quickly, For parents who are divorced and it's having a toll on the children, can you say one or two things to them on how to balance the whole situation before we wrap it up on the program?
Okay. Parents who are divorced and is affecting their children, I think the best bet is number one, they should come together. They shouldn't be enemies. They should be friends. They should come together once in a while to stay with the children. They can balance it by staying with the children, discussing with their children. You will see that sometimes when the father comes, when their father maybe comes to visit, they be happy. You see a child will bring, Daddy, this is my homework. Daddy, look at this one happened in the school. You know, they will discuss. There should be communication, even though they are divorced. I know people who are divorced, but they are not enemies.
Of course.
Divorce is not certificate for being for becoming enemies. No. They can still come together to train the children, and you see that they will still have good children. The children will be good. Yes. They can become good citizens. They will not have this negative effect we are talking about. Will not affect them. They will not be affected by them. You understand?
Yes, I do.
Yes, the man too should live up to his responsibility. You know, funding the education, paying bills, because that is another thing that can affect the children. Showing them love. You understand? They can even embrace the parents can even embrace themselves in front of the children, and they go. Life continues. Hello. Hello.
Get ready for it. Inside Today brings you issues relating to family, peer pressure, drugs, substance abuse, societal and topical issues making rounds. Join Jumaine Manson on Global Television Monday to Thursday and it repeats every Friday. Time 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. Don't miss out.
For an insightful idea that takes the center. All right, you're welcome back to the last lap of the program Inside Today, and thank you so much, Ambassador Dr. Princess Tobechukwu, for being a part of the program and giving your wealth of experience when it comes to these issues on how parents can balance the whole situation. Now, it is essential for parents to provide emotional support, maintain consistent communication, and prioritize the well-being of their children during and after divorce. Now, it helps to mitigate and navigate impact and foster resilience in their children. We should always understand that the children are the most important in this because they already have children. So it's very important to create that balance. Their mental health is important. Their psychological and social well-being is also important. Thank you all so much for being a part of Insight today. Have an amazing day ahead. I am Jumai Manson. Bye-bye.